Namo tasse bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tasse bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tasse bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Punaca parang bhikkhave bhikkho abhikkhante patikkante sampajanakari hoti alokite vilokite sampajanakari hoti samminjite pasarite sampajanakari hoti sanghati patta chivara dharane sampajanakari hoti asite pite khaite saite sampajanakari hoti uchchara passavakamme sampajanakari hoti gate tite nisinne sutte jagarite bhasite tunhi bhave sampajanakari hoti iti. Dear devotees, today we are meeting for the fifth time for the Dhamma talk based upon the Sathipattana Sutta. That is to say, the foundations of mindfulness. As everyone already knows, there are four that kind of foundations laid down by the Omniscient One, the Buddha. The first one is called the body, contemplating upon the body as body, and that is the first one, first foundation for the mindfulness to be established. Along that, the body as body also, so far we have taken the sitting posture and taken the mindfulness on in-breath and out-breath. So that is the most famous among the Sathipattana meditators, and that has given an image. The meditation means sitting and sitting means meditation. But when you proceed further, there are four postures: the walking posture, the standing posture, the sitting posture, as well as the lying down posture. These are also possible options for the establishment of the mindfulness. And when you are reading the scriptures, you can read many times Buddha as well as his senior disciples were in walking meditation, and there had been a lot of meetings and discussions and conversations. That means they are, during their timetable, fairly a number of hours have already allocated for walking meditation, even after their full enlightenment also. So therefore walking meditation also given equal weights according to this sutta or this discourse, walking meditation. So last time, the whole session we were discussing about the walking meditation. That is to say, the four cardinal postures. Today we are going a little further. These are sub-postures or some breakdown in these four cardinal postures, and each of them are considered as foundations for the establishment of mindfulness. So here also starting with abhikkante patikkante sampajanakari hoti. When you are walking forward and coming backward, you must be with the full awareness or full knowledge. So sampajana is the basic term used here, and that is not the first time in this sutta this word is appearing. Whenever the four foundations are being introduced, they are also atapi sampajano satima. These three qualities has been already stipulated. So there also sampajana is appearing. Now here we are going to deal it in detail. The sampajanakari. Sampajana means clear. Sometimes some authors, translators use this as clear comprehension. Some understand it as full awareness, and sometimes as investigation, clear investigations like. So when you are in walking meditation, it is giving a good base or foundation for the establishment of the mindfulness. And when you are going to consider it going forward and going backward, or other things like looking directly and looking sideways, alokite vilokite, and sammijite pasarite, when you are bending your arms and stretching your arms or limbs. And then the monks' affairs like wearing robes, double robes, handling the bowls, as well as all the other day-to-day work, everything, one section of each great postures could be used as the base or foundations of mindfulness, establishment of mindfulness. That means that kind of breaking down the basic 4 cardinal postures into small pieces. When the amount of breaking down increases, there is a tendency you may lose the idea or the perception of a being or a self. Instead, you can see it is like a working machine. Specifically, when you are in walking meditation, if the mindfulness as well as the concentration become established and steadfast, you may feel as if a puppet or a lever machine is going up and down and walking, and of course you can be aware of it, you can be mindful of it, and therefore you are the doer as well as you can be your own observer. There also you feel it is like a external thing, like you get a kind of a distance in the normal in walking meditation also. So this one going to get more detail, more small sections as the foundation of mindfulness. They are, as far as you are giving more and more attention to the changing into one to the other, you are observing yourself quite as if you are a second person, or you are an external person, or still we can say further, as if there is a video camera is recording everything, and you are sometimes take the role of the actor, sometimes you take the role of the function of the video camera. So that kind of a dislocation can take place, and that is how slowly you start to lose the comprehensive idea that you are a being or you are a self kind of thing. Instead you are observing yourself. This can be this sampajanya, that clear comprehension, establishment of a clear comprehension, as well as the clear investigation, as well as the full awareness, being discussed in the commentaries in basically 2 ways. One thing is, when you are sitting, for example, and after a while, say about 35 to 40 minutes time, the bodily pains or the sitting posture become uncomfortable, unbearable, and then often your primary object, namely the in-breath and out-breath, cannot be observed properly or cannot be maintained in face-to-face, the pain is going to interrupt continuously. In that situation, the normal reaction of the yogi is to get up and go, because that no use of sitting. So, and that kind of a situation, your posture was sitting, and now you are going to change it into a walking posture or some other your day-to-day activities. When this kind of options come forward, you can use this clear comprehension, or you can make it as an opportunity to establish the clear awareness, full awareness, whereby you must understand, or you have to wait and see, contemplate and see, now the main object, or your mindfulness on in-breath and out-breath is completely disturbed due to the pain. Therefore, the mind suggests to get up. So immediately if you are going to get up, that you are already developed mindfulness or concentration, everything will be scattered. Therefore, the person who is developing the comprehension, clear comprehension, the sampajanya, is asked to consider it before you are getting up. It says in the 4 kinds of considerations, or 4 kinds of stages in this contemplation. The first one is Sattaka Sampajanya, that you have to say, what is the purpose of getting up? The purpose here is very clear, that because the pain is becoming unbearable, therefore you are going to get up. And going to get up, if you are not contemplative, simply you will go and engage in other unrelated things and unbecoming things. So if you are going to contemplate, and if you are very comprehensive, you will understand from sitting posture, yes, it is unfruitful, therefore I am going to get up, and what is the purpose you are going to, what is the thing you are going to do. So is the mind going to suggest, okay, now I am going to get up and go for the walking meditation, or well and good, because still you can continue with the effort of mindfulness and the concentration. If it is not so, you will be just while away your time, and it will be a wastage. Therefore, the person who is developing the contemplation, or this kind of contemplations, or person who is interested in improving towards the clear comprehension, should consider the purpose. And once the purpose is considered, then it is asked to see the Sappaya Sampajanya, that is to say, what is the suitability or conducive nature of the second option you are going to take. Still it is conducive for development of mindfulness and the concentration, or you are going to just gossip, talking with someone and just to while away your time. So therefore you have to, before getting up, you have to be considerate what is the suitability of the second option. That means you are still, before going to take any action, going to take any alternative, while in the same posture, you consider the second time, what is the suitability, what is the, how much it is conducive for the development of the mindfulness and the concentration, the basic 2 mental qualities you are looking forward. And if it is, you can give, if it suggests, the mind come out with a reasonable suggestion, then you have consider whether it is you are going to do within the meditation center or within the known area, or you are going to do away, so that you will be susceptible for other defilements to come, or any physical misdeeds or mental, verbal misdeeds. If it is not so, and the thing you are going to do, if it is falling within the meditation of Sathipattana, or the contemplation upon the body, or contemplation upon the pain and the feelings, or contemplation upon the mind, or contemplation upon the Dhamma things, that means you are in the secured form. If it is not so, you have to say the mind and the body going to expose unwantedly, therefore to be precautious. The other point you are going to say, whether you are going to perform within the security zone or outside. And even all these three things going to give a positive marks, then you are of course changing your posture. That also must done with asammoha sampajanya. That means not allowing the mindfulness to lose, or you to be forgetful of what you are doing. Slowly, as a yogi, you will get up. Likewise, before the changing into the another kind of a posture, you have to give kind of a thought or consideration. This whole process also sometimes the commentators considers as a way of developing clear comprehension, sampajanya. So this is something like driving a car. As far as you are in a freeway or highway, you know your speed is very good and you are fast reaching your destiny. But if it due to the circumstance, if it happen you to turn into a side by road, then you have to slow down the car and think about the other road discipline, and then only slowly go to a sideways, and there your speed will be reduced and your way towards the destiny also will be not direct and it will be branched. So these are called junctions. At the junction, when you are turning, you have to be special care. Exactly, all the four cardinal postures are like highways. While you are in sitting posture, very good development of mindfulness and concentration. While you are walking also, for a 1 hour, stretch of 1 hour, throughout mindfulness and concentration develop, catching the momentum. And you are standing and meditating, still the same. And you are lying down and meditating, still the same. When you are changing from sitting to standing, that is the one kind of a junction. At that junction, you must not rush. If it is so, you are asking for accidents. So therefore, you have to slow down and follow the road discipline. And then you are sure not to have mishaps. Like that in our day-to-day activities, more the number of junctions in our posture, higher the number of accidents. Lesser the number of junctions, easy to maintain the mindfulness and the concentration. So therefore, whenever you encounter or come across a possible change from one posture to the other, you must be aware is the vulnerable place, susceptible place. There you have to take precautions beforehand. Otherwise, you may face unforeseen situations. Therefore, as much as possible, before taking the action, you have to be contemplative. That is also being known as sampajanya. So this can be put into very deep level. Here you see one yogi facing two options, either to continue with sitting or to get up and go for walking meditation. You are facing or meeting a bifork junction, and before taking a decision to change your posture, you have to be a little contemplative. So exactly the same thing happened. We have only one consciousness, but 6 faculties. The eye also asking the attention of the very consciousness. The ear also asking the attention of the consciousness. The nose also asking the attention. The tongue also asking. The bodily tactile sensation or body A sensitivity also asking and the mind base also asking. Therefore, consciousness is always facing that kind of changes and moving from one faculty to the other. It is so swift. We have no chance to develop the clear comprehension. We have no chance to ask our mind, are we considerate about the purpose when we are changing from eye to ear? Are we considerate about the suitability of changing? Are we considerate about the conduciveness? Are we considerate about whether it is within the security zone, or are we do it mindfully and slowly? And you will find how vulnerable and how to predict or how to organize this kind of a very quick and fast and swift actions. And that is what happens. So therefore, when you are changing from sitting to standing, of course you have enough time to break this situation into small pieces, and then to see whether it is suitable, or whether it is purposeful, or whether it is within the domain of security, or am I doing it mindfully. So therefore, when you first introduced about the 4 cardinal postures, and then before introducing to its detailed approach, the small pieces within the postures, you have to understand so much of junctions in the postures, one posture to the other one. There your attention must be, or otherwise it will be better to put in this way, your mindfulness must be reinforced or galvanized with this clear comprehension. Or other way also you can go. If there is no mindfulness to indicate you that you are at a junction and you are going to change from one to the other, there is no hope regarding implementation of the clear comprehension. So therefore, first and foremost, you have to say, junctions are vulnerable, prone to accidents, so their attention must be more than while you are in the highway, or while you are in the by-roads. But when the yogis, specifically when they are becoming mindful day by day, when the mindfulness come to a certain level, definitely they will understand we are least mindful while we are changing the posture and at the junctions. For example, it's a kind of an informal example to this particular sampajanya level. If you are taking the breathing, as far as in-breath is taking, you will note it as in-breath. And you can feel at least the middle part where the rubbing happen most prominently. So you may understand this is in-breath, and it is the inward rub with cold draft of air. And then inward goes in, and then the outward breathing happens, and there's a junction in between. At that junction we are at lost. We don't feel it. We do not know what happens to the mindfulness. We do not know what happens to the comprehension. We do not know what happens to the effort. So these are dark spots where we are completely at random. We have no control. And then again the out-breath starts. Even the early part of out-breath is happening in still darkness. And when it comes to a certain level, passing a certain threshold value only, our perception can feel it. Our perception can touch it. Our perception can note it. And that we note it as out, and try to see how much it is different from the in-breath. Then we report, while in-breath, I note it as in-breath, and it appears like inward rub with cold air draft. I noted when the out-breath happened, I noted as out-breath, and it appeared like outward rub, kind of a warm air. So very full marks you get. Even the teachers accept it. But clearly yogi can understand, not at the beginning, but later, there is a gap. There is a junction. There's a turning over, U-turn. And there, it has happened completely mechanically, completely without control. But after long time of meditation, long time of mindfulness, establishment of mindfulness, the concentration only, at least you will come to know there is a gap, there is a junction in between. Exactly when you are sitting and meditating, and before getting up, very rarely you give a second thought that I am going to get up, and is it worthwhile that am I getting up, or am I doing after consideration, or am I going to take it next to the walking meditation, or when while I am getting up, am I mindful, am I doing it slowly. So therefore, whole process, if you can have an overview, you can say first of all, you have to say, our time, our day is 1001, or in the sense that the uncountable amount of changing of postures. Each moment you are at lost. And when in the second posture, when it is going to continue, again you can be mindful, specifically the beginners. So, the Buddha, being the master on these, he says, your understanding of truth of suffering is basically covered by changing of postures. If you are to understand the truth of suffering, you have to maintain the same posture for a long time. One thing, to develop the mindfulness steadfast, or develop steadfast mindfulness, and the concentration to take place to see things as they are. When the mindfulness and the concentration get aligned, when you are about to see things as they are, lucky or unlucky enough, the pain comes. That is why after the first foundation, body is explained. Second thing is the feeling as a foundation of mindfulness. The feeling is unwelcomed visitor. For lazy bones, for lazy kind of yogis, it's a torturing. When the pain comes, they definitely react. They definitely consider it's an enemy. So therefore, turning this way and that way, and get shrink back and get discouraged. Because even without pain, early part of meditation, he was not so successful in keeping the track with in-breath and out-breath. Because he is not noting. Because he is not allocating enough effort. So therefore, breathing in and out also very difficult to understand. And therefore, when the pain comes, he succumbs to this changing of the posture. And throughout that, the changing takes place, and that is also more and more towards the bewilderment, without control, and the failure. But if you are very keen, if you are following the instructions, you must understand the very early part of in-breath and out-breath in sitting meditation is the best opportunity for you to note each and every in-breath and out-breath and to taste it. Get the touch of it. More and more you to understand the behavioral qualities of the in-breath or experience of the in-breath under the nose versus the out-breath, that means your establishment of mindfulness or sati, get a better chance to be very closely established with the object of in-breath and out-breath. If you are not taking this chance, and if you are very slack, and if you are very superficial, not keen, you will not get any taste, you will not get any difference between in-breath and out-breath. Then even hours you are going to sit, and nothing to report in the interviews. At least you do not know what is the format of interview and reporting also. Therefore, it is as soon as the pain comes, you will be adjusting yourself and moving this way, that way, and you find that this meditation is not it is not the way of emancipation of suffering. This method is to create suffering or inflict suffering. Because earlier you would have sit in the front of the television for hours, no problem. But now when you are going to contemplate, even 15 minutes become very difficult, because early few opportunities where very prominent rubbing of in-breath and out-breath due to the coarse kind of breathing is very easy to note and easy to take them as foundation of establishment of the mindfulness. Once the mindfulness is established, then you can welcome the forthcoming pain. Sometimes you may see the pain is bearable. While the pain is there, you can continue with in-breath and out-breath. Or sometimes easily you can say, now pain and the in-breath and out-breath weighing each other and fighting each other, ultimately in-breath and out-breath get defeated and only the pain remains. And therefore definitely you have to do something. You have to adjust yourself. So at that time, if you are successful in the early part of breathing or establishment of the mindfulness on breathing, then you are getting a clear chance, knowing that you are in a highway and you are about to take a turn. And there you can follow the code and road signs and the signals, and then avoid any accidents or causing any difficulties to other drivers. Like that, you can be prepared. So that is the place where the mindfulness have kind of a establishment, and upon that the clear comprehension can take place. Clear comprehension, therefore, you can say, giving you a chance to select the priority. You have number of options. Out of that, what is the most fruitful? That is, you can give a meaning for the searching of purpose. If you have energy and if you have zest and the striving power, then you can say, I will work little with pain. Of course, now it is not the primary object, but pain is there, now face to face, under the nose. You can feel the pain without any enmity, without any antagonism, without any preconceived idea, so that you will feel, you can see the characteristic of pain, whether it is stabbing, or it is cutting tight, or it is twisting, or it is burning, or it is moving here and there, or it's a one single big conglomeration, or small dots, whatever may be, you can see. Maybe still the pain is increasing its intensity, but you are getting a golden opportunity to see the pain, and then the effort is worthwhile, because the already developed mindfulness is still working. And later you will find that, of course, you have to change the posture, and there the early consideration serve you the purpose, and now it is not, so therefore you are going to take the walking meditation or going out. So if it is so, you can carefully understand, why am I going to a suitable place, or that is within the guardian of security of the mindfulness, or am I doing it slowly, mindfully and silently. Sometimes you may just adjust your posture and still continue with the sitting posture. Exactly this happens in the walking meditation also. While you are doing walking, it becomes quickly sunny, and then you feel heated. And definitely mind will say, okay, there is a nice shade, why can't I move into that? So when it's happening immediately without any consideration, if you are going to act like a puppet, then there is no chance for you to make use it as a foundation of mindfulness, and then you will be succumb to the new intention that has come, it will go without notice, and ultimately the so far developed mindfulness and concentration will be scattered off. Therefore, earning of mindfulness and gathering of concentration is fairly easy, but the preservation, the security, continuity is very difficult because we are always changing the posture. In a subtle form, we are changing the attention from from the eye to the ear, ear to the nose, nose to the tongue, tongue to the body, body to the mind, and again to the ear. So much of changing happens, even you don't have any bookkeeping, no accounts. Accountability is not there. I am repeating, I am stressing, it is difficult, yes, because eye faculty is very thrifty, it is very swift. Ear also the same, nose also the same, tongue also the same. Easiest thing is the body. That is why the Buddha has prescribed the body as the first foundation of mindfulness, and there you have to be little thorough, little keen, specifically in sitting. Try to maintain the posture as long as possible. There you will get more and more anchored on the steadfast kind of mindfulness and the concentration. When the mindfulness and the concentration comes, the discriminative knowledge, the clear comprehension get least disturbances and they get high power, and then you will see the emerging pains or emerging any intentions, emerging all the kind of thing. If it is so, your decision will be easier. But if your concentration and the mindfulness is weaker, you can't see the emerging part. You will see already damaging kind of pains, because you are too late, you are not diligent, you are instead negligence. So therefore, mindfulness and the comprehension has a very clear connection. Those who are skillful in mindfulness will advance and go for the higher training by introducing this kind of comprehension. In the philosophical presentation, says our ear, the nose, eye, the ear, the nose, tongue and the body always accumulating or sensitive to senses. But the consciousness only one available, therefore consciousness has to select what is the thing going to give the priority. In a sense, the inflow of senses is sixfold, but you can appreciate only one at a time. They are the strength of the sense, the strength of the signal, the impingement can be one of the rational selection criteria. The other one is the purposefulness. The other one is the suitability. The other one is your security. And the other one is that what is the easiest thing for you to understand with mindfulness and the concentration. So, if a yogi already knows our mind is always changing from one to the other very quickly, and there is a chance, there is a free will for each one to make use this opportunity, and for that you have to be prepared mindfulness. You have to be diligent, you have to be vigilant, you have to be very closely observing, otherwise mind will take its own rights. And that means you are at lost. So this is a very good opportunity for the past karmas or your past deeds to come and play hell. But if you are carefully, and if you at least know, the mind is changing from the one to the other, just like a monkey. When the monkey is jumping from the one branch to the other, he never calculates, just looking is enough. So Buddha says our mind is a mad monkey, not the normal type. It is so quickly changing. So how can we predict I will be doing this and that, or I will be reacting, or I will be dealing in the difficulties, this or that. when we become sick, when we become old in age, when we are nearing the death, and when we are facing the mishaps. Where is all the qualities of the cultured people go? Because mind has no any discipline, it has not been studied, not given second thought. So therefore you are always facing unpredictables. So that is why the Buddha, out of this compassion, he says this is too late when the mishap comes, when you become too old, when you become too sick, when you have become nearing the death. So when you are young age, you have to take little time and let the mind to run in one posture for a long time. When it is happening, definitely the urgency or intentions and volitions may come to change it. When it is happening, be patient, be diligent, be mindful, and then see this is exactly what is happening from posture to posture. This is exactly what happened from one faculty to the other faculty. The consciousness have very quite limited capacity, but the inflow of signals limits us. So they are, if you mindful, if you are prepared, you can employ your free will, your wish. Otherwise, you will be carried out. When we are selecting one, for example, the consciousness can either go to the eye or to the ear or to the nose or to the tongue or to the body, one thing at a time. When it is gone to the eye, for example, if we take it as an example, definitely it has to close the ear, the nose, the tongue, the body and the mind, other faculties. So this has become a dilemma. This has become the very difficult situation for the physicist. Whenever he is observing something, he knows he has to close the eyes for the rest of the things. When you are in the films, in the cinema, if you have to see the thing in the reel, you have to close all the doors and windows and the blinds. If it is not dark, you can't entertain the film. So therefore darkness, the ignorance, is a crucial factor for a film. Exactly if you have to see something, you have to close all the faculties, otherwise it is impossible. But you are get so bogged down and absorbed in seeing, you will never notice at that time, ear is not working. The nose is not working. The tongue is not working. The body tactile sensations are not working. Mind is paralyzed. You are just here. And immediately when you become a hearer, definitely the eye is open but it is blind. The consciousness can't tackle two things at a time. And if you know, if you are noting, now at the beginning you are seeing, and if you are noting, seeing, immediately you will see now you are hearing and you are noting hearing, and at least you will get a chance to see how quickly that attention change from ear to the nose, eye to the ear. If you are not noting, you will run years of practice, but you won't get any touch. You will not be trained how to implement this clear comprehension from one faculty to the other, in the junction. Easy thing is, while it is in the ear, you can hear, you can note it as hearing. If it is so, at least you will understand. It is quickly changing into the nose or quickly changing into the eye. And whenever the consciousness is going to take one action at a time, if you know all the others, 5 faculties are closed, you can see it is soulless, it has no any being inside. You experience the phenomena only 1/6, all the balance are projections and your past perceptions. And then you see, I heard it, I saw it, I touched it, I tasted it, everything like. So that is why after the film, nowadays very rarely people going for that because of these TVs and others, after 1.5 hours of looking, you feel throughout you are looking, throughout you are listening to music, throughout you are chewing something, and throughout you are smelling, and throughout you are get the touch of the chair, and throughout you are thinking right. That cannot be. That is not the situation. Whenever hearing happens, seeing won't. But you don't feel any interruption. You feel as a continuous looking at the film. But at least, if you study the projector, you will see 50% of your time was darkness. Otherwise, projector cannot work. But you will never see any darkness while you are looking at the film. So so much of your infusion of your perceptions, your thinkings and your preconceived ideas are polluting the real experience of real touch. So that is why when you are walking, if you note left leg as left leg, you will understand at least I am not at the leg but I am seeing, or I am hearing, or I am touching the air movements, and then at least you will know, though you are noting as left, your mind is not at the left. Though you are noting as right, mind is at left, or when any other faculties. That is how you can understand the disorientation. It is a great discovery for a person to understand how fragile, how frugal from the connection of one thought moment to the next thought moment, the continuity of the mindfulness. It is so uncertain. Unless otherwise, mindfulness is going to continue one thought moment to the next to the other, then only one time the mindfulness will show you, now only the continuity is there, and that continuity happens then and there in the thought moments. But if you are looking with the desire, if you are looking an object with the head, definitely you won't feel this then and there adjustment, or momentary adjustment of the seeing, and momentary adjustment of mindfulness, momentary adjustment of the concentration. So when you feel at the continuity, you feel I was looking, I was seeing. That is because you have not seen, you have not observed its impromptuness, its improvisation and the continuity. That is why people believe the continuity, whatever the elements going to say, they are so momentary, but our theory, our mind always says, no, there is a continuity. Whatever the anicca sanya comes, you are gloss it over by nicca sanya. Because you don't see the junctions in the postures. You don't see the changeover from one faculty to the other. So when the mindfulness increases, the Buddha slowly introduced this the comprehension, clear comprehension, and therefore the definition of the sampajanya, the word sampajanya is cut into sampanya or sampajanya. Janya or nya indicate the knowledge, the awareness, and it is being supported with the prefix of sang. Sang indicates swayam. Swayam means by yourself. Sometimes it indicates sampurna, that is complete, totality. Sometimes it says direct, under the nose. So when the sampajanya is working, you get the understanding by yourself. It is not taught by teachers, it is not by preconceived ideas, it is not philosophical theory or formula. You are just see under the nose. Now in-breath is happening, I know it is in-breath. That understanding is yourself. You yourself. That is sun. Sometimes you can see, if you are so closely observing, you can see the whole phenomena of in-breath, the beginning, the middle and end. Then it becomes Sampurna. Sampurna is the total, not a fraction of it. The other one is, you have to see this kind of momentary things immediately. Do not let it to get delayed. The diligence must be there. So when the diligence is there, or immediately is there, when you see yourself and when you see the totality, it is, you can't see any soul, any fractions of soul or any being, nothing, only a mechanical thing, just physics. So when you are sitting and the pain comes, unless otherwise you involve yourself, going to implement your wish or going to make yourself comfortable, if you let it happen very slowly and mindfully, they can see the intention came and the pain, due to the pain, and therefore you are about to get up, and from the sitting posture to getting up happens. It's just mechanical thing happens. It is based by the basic idea, or basic intention, backed by the pain. So all these things, when you are analyzing, which is the part you can recognize as yourself? Who are you? What am I? Who am I? Am I going to recognize myself as the intention? Am I going to recognize myself as the lever system that is going to get up? Or am I going to recognize with the causative pain? Logically you will find it is not rational. So therefore more and more you are going to see with the comprehension, your clear comprehension backed by the mindfulness, you will see the component parts. What was the cause? And how was it is changing from one faculty to the other, or one posture to the other, and then now you are changing to the other one, and throughout that it is transparent, it is accountable. When it is accountable, it is verifiable. That verifiability never happens only with mindfulness, unless otherwise the clear comprehension comes and sets in. So this is a very precious faculty the human brain carries, but unlucky enough, very, very rare person only implement it, only make use it. Most of the time we are in dream, we are sleepy, we are not diligent, we are very negligent, because we love to see good pictures, we love to hear good music, we love to have good smell, and we love to have good taste, and love to make body comfort, and love to be with pet ideas. But more and more you try to get these lovely parts, most of the time what you get is unspoken type of suffering. So therefore you do not know how that, even if you are seeking the pleasure, but overall what you get is exactly the same like the other beings. Because you are dark and ignorant and sometimes negligent at the junctions. So best and foremost thing is to continue in the same posture as long as possible. Therefore, you will at least shed the light of mindfulness, and then ultimately you will get a good concentration with the with the help of the mindfulness and the concentration. You are going to get a better chance for the clear comprehensions to set in. There you will see the things by yourself, you will see the things in totality, you will see the things immediately. If these things are not happening, not taking place, definitely you are bewildered. You are rather thinking rather than experiencing. Or conventional or the rational knowledge or deductive knowledge is overpowering your direct experience. So Buddha is not going to challenge you. He is not going to punish you. But he says, don't believe. Keep on noting the same thing for 1001 times. And then only you will see how much of the past knowledge and the memories and the conceptions and the rationalization, inferential knowledge, infilter or seep into your direct experience. That is how everyone starts. But slowly, you will understand whenever the direct experience comes, you know it is by yourself. It is not the Buddha's knowledge. It is not your teacher's knowledge. It is your parents' knowledge, yourself. And when it happens, definitely it must be totality. From beginning to the end. One has to observe one thing, then only you can claim this is the direct experience, under the nose experience. And if it is so, it must be immediate. If you are delayed and if you are negligent and if you are lazy, then phenomena will take place and you will claim that you have seen, but it is what you claim, not what happened. So this is how the mindfulness and the concentration leading to the kind of a wisdom. That wisdom should not be mixed up with rational knowledge, mixed up with inferential, mixed up with conceptions. When you are having a lot of options, the mind gets bewildered. Unless otherwise you install the mindfulness and make it diligent, you will either run the show by your faith. Many things happen, you will select one out of faith. Or you will select by your choice. You like this and that, your tastes. Or you will run by what you have heard from your teachers and your parents, and you will select blindfolded. Or you will think it is rational, it is deductive knowledge, and therefore I will select it. Or you will select according to your views. So these are the 5 things. When many option comes, normal, unmindful people leads. He never think about the purpose. He never think about the suitability. He never think about the other important things. Instead, you will again and again implement saddha, that your faith, ruchi, your taste, anusava, that you have heard, akara parivitakka, your rational, your logical deduction, and the ditthinichana khanti, your views. So you will be ever the same person, never refine. So Buddha says, it's a golden opportunity whenever there is a chance, whenever there is a change from one posture to the other, whenever there is a change from one faculty to the other, there is a gap. There is a dark spot. To that only, you have to shed the light of mindfulness, and then you will see you have enough chances to evolve yourself. Revolutionary, look at anything from the freshness. Be young, be in the present moment, be diligent. When these things happen, maybe once in 1 hour or something like that, it gives so much of energy and so much of confidence and so much of faith upon the Buddha and the Dhamma and the Sangha, because this kind of subtlety, not thinkable, not perceivable by any religion. They are basically on either faith or likings and disliking, or in their hearings from the book, or on the rationality, or their faith, or their views. But the Buddha never asks you to blindfoldly follow this, either faith, or ruchi, or anusava, or akara parivitakka, or ditthinichana. And he says, all these 5 faculties, 5 aspects, 5 criterion have 2 weaknesses. One thing, even if you selected that, the truth not will be in your selected part, truth will be the part where you have outcasted. That is the weakness in the faith. Even if you have selected the option by the taste, your liking and disliking, what is the liking that you have taken may be free of the faith, truth. You would have discarded the truth. Exactly all the 5 have the same weaknesses. So that is why ever we are get churned and be taken into the sansaric cycle, Ever what we are selecting according to the pre-programmed things. We are in a rut. We have to reconsider. To reconsider, you have to come to the present moment and expect whenever there are options that you have to implement your free will. For that, mindfulness must be there. The mindfulness must be reinforced. Mindfulness must be galvanized together with this clear comprehension that indicates the discriminative knowledge and the selection of priority. And that is the most lacking quality in the human world. That is why the decisions taken by the humans are so dangerous to the nature, so dangerous to the particular person. And we believe political leaders would take a proper decision for us. Sorry, they don't have time for retreats. More than us, they are in a grip. And the high responsible people are the worst susceptible people for the mental upsets and the depressions. So their decisions also accordingly. Only a person who has the freedom, who is living in the present moment, who is mindful, can take a decision. Such a person need not any decision because he is living. He is existing. That existence needs not any decision. Decision needs when there is so much of options and the pressure comes, tension comes, there the decision needs. So there is a kind of a marvelous combinations. When you are fully mindful and when you are living in the present moment or you are existing in the present moment, no decision necessary. Whatever the prominent thing, you try to be mindful. You will never use no and impossible. So these things are not accounted for, not necessary for the mindful life. Whenever you are not mindful, your decisions are so demanding. You have to pay some time for the other people for the decision. So therefore, you are free. You are free to take either action, either mode of life. So Buddha, out of the compassion, he says, please slow down and be mindful. Do it silently. And when it is doing, your mindfulness gets more and more steadfast. The concentration will be consecutive, and then you will get a chance to develop the clear comprehension, and it will take care about the decision-making procedure based upon the purpose, based upon the suitability, based upon the reality, whether you are do it in the bewildered mind or whether you are doing with the clear idea. And all the situation, whether it is happening in the secured zone, whether it is within the morality, whether it is secure within the range of healthy shame and the healthy fear. Otherwise, completely it is given to the darkness. So therefore, the Sathipattana Sutta, more to come, whenever furthering, it is going to take more and more fractions, breaking into small pieces. More and more small pieces come, higher the mindfulness is necessary, and the comprehension also come. More and more the mindfulness and the clear comprehension comes. You don't find any kind of a being or any kind of a creator, any kind of a mystic. Everything appear one-to-one relationship. But if you are not mindful, you have to believe a lot of mystics, and you have to believe a lot of creator gods and omnipotent and omnipresent God. Otherwise, you yourself will consider it as something hidden, something mystics. But Buddha says, under the magnifying glass of mindfulness, nothing unseeable. Everything is possible. But at the beginning, very difficult. When you, at the beginning, you see the walking meditation and the sitting, standing, but you ask, cut it into small pieces, piece by piece, and look under the light of mindfulness, and you find everything is comprehensible by the human mind. Do it in a systematic manner. When you go further and further, your very body, which causes all the suffering, is the laboratory. Your brain, the human brain, is endowed with all the potential. So therefore, if you are not mindful, the body is appear to be as the source of suffering. And if you are mindful, that will be a very nice laboratory. And then you are to take any option. When you are doing it slowly or in the gradual manner, you find with the help of the companions, those who are taking, those who are striving, it appears like a good challenge. And therefore, the mindfulness on body as body, going to get more and more deeper understanding when you are going further, but sorry to say, not with theoretical understanding, not with rationalization. You have to invest your own time in sitting and in walking and be mindful in day-to-day activities, and then you find how deep and how profound the theory behind, that is the meaning of Dhamma, and the meaning of Dhamma increases as you practice more and more diligently. And the Dhamma in turn helps also. And by practicing, you are also helping Dhamma. That is the way we can contribute to this dispensation. That is the way we can make use this dispensation. Therefore, we got a golden opportunity, having this Buddha Sasana, having this our human existence, and our brains and the bodies are fairly healthy, and we get the Dhamma, and we get the association with the good, healthy people, noble people, and therefore make it a positive way of thinking. More and more information come in terms of the practice and theory. You will look forward to see the complete cessation. So with the help of with the blessing of the triple gem, you may develop more and more the faith, the energy, the mindfulness, the concentration and wisdom. May you be healthy, wealthy and happy. Say sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. We have taken about little more than 1 hour. So if someone needs any comments or any statements or questions regarding sitting meditation, we can spend little time. And only one announcement, that evening 6:30 to 7:30 sitting, there was a little confusion because of the climatic changes and the 2 halls. And my idea was to go for the other hall, but when we go there, there were sitting people, therefore I had no chance to give the guided meditation. So therefore for tomorrow, today of course first day on the Saturday, tomorrow if there is no any objection, we will be meeting in the other hall at 6:30, and we will be at the beginning giving basic instruction if someone needs, for the beginner available in English medium, and 6:30 to 7:30 sitting. And from 7:30 to 8:30, if there are immediate practical questions, we can use it as a question and answer session. And then 8:30 we will have a talk, the continuation of Sathipattana, the 6th talk. And this is for the clarity. Otherwise, moving here and there, and ultimately we will be mixed up. And the other part is, today we had 4 o'clock common kind of interviews, and that is saving my time, and as well as I hope there is no so much of personal things that we can't discuss, and therefore we can encourage this. At the early part of retreat, you should have personal interviews. But when everyone knows and everyone come to the pooling, we can have the group kind of interviews. So tomorrow also we are going to have at 4 o'clock here. For the sitting 4 o'clock, the others can use the other hall. I don't know, is it clear and agreed? Yeah, virtually it is shut down. But you don't believe it. You think everyone is working, every aspect is working. But theoretically there won't be 2 consciousness, only one. That can happen either in ear consciousness or eye consciousness, whatever, we can take only one live wire. So that is why that is to be very discerned about, to be aware. It appears like many things are happening, we claim, we believe that many things are happening, that is why the self-ego comes. Otherwise that cannot be coming. So if you are disintegrated to one and one, that is happening spatial basis and the temporal basis. Spatial basis, yes, you get trapped. But you are so sharp to get the momentary concentration, your attention from the spatial basis changes into the momentary. And when you come to the momentary, you are not listening, you are not hearing, you are just be mindful on the moment. So therefore, when the mindfulness at the very low stage, it can't produce the proper potential. It has to further go and accelerate up to the certain momentum, then only it comes to the momentary concentration. When you have momentary concentration, only this theory can be applied and see one thing at a time you can do. Other things are assuming, we feel we are doing everything. That is how the assumption of ego comes. That is how the assumption of the Almighty God, the Creator God. The Buddha says it is like a 6 strands put together, and then it appears like an unbendable, unbreakable, very strong strength. But he says, remove it one by one. Once it is disintegrated, each individual is so weak. Others are falsy, only one is working at a time. So this is, you have to, at this level, you will just taken to grant as a hypothesis, and you have to observe. When the noting happens, when you are noting only properly, you can understand one thing only can happen at a time. Otherwise, you are free to assume that everything is taking place, therefore ego sense is ever coming. You can't get rid of it. The day it becomes understood, this is ear and this is listening. This is I am hearing. So you can't be hearer as well as the looker at the same time. So therefore it is a sharp thing. Huh? Yeah, it is so swift. Unless the momentariness of the being, momentariness of the existence understood, this everything appears like a conglomerated, and the being is there, the male, female, liking, disliking, this and that, everything is there, convention is fully fledged. That when you are going more and more to the momentariness, you find there is no such thing. There is a kind of a continuity of the phenomena. If you are exposed to that, you can claim it as male or female. You can claim it as whether you are seeing, hearing or nothing. There's a very preliminary. It is happening in the primordial form. When you come to the momentary consciousness, you are not experiencing it through the ear, the eye, the nose, the tongue, the body and nothing. It is still the experience is there. You can claim that I am seeing. You can claim I am hearing. That is why the anindriya patipaddha vijnana, the consciousness which is not related to the faculties. This is the most preliminary. When it get polluted, only it connected to the one of the senses, and then you get camouflage. You are bewildered. I mean, there is nothing to wash and take. So our senses world happening with the connected with the senses. So then you have the male, female, UNP, Sri Lanka, Sri Lankan, Tamil, many fighting. So Buddha is asking to go back to the sense, like turtle taken all the limbs inside, and then he is secured. Likewise, all the senses draw back. It is very nicely happening when the Anapana is getting concentrated. You feel that even the touching point is missing. Even the in and out breathing is missing. And you do not know what is the object of meditation, but definitely you know you are living. And definitely you know it is not happening through the eye, not the ear, not the nose, not the tongue. And then you get frightened and get up and go. Because you don't believe, you don't feel that kind of a consciousness which is more preliminary, more primordial. It is not connected to the senses. It is something strange for us, something novelty. So you have to daily go there, come back, go there, come back. Then only you can see this is the resourceful, endowed situation, and you are not polluted. Mind is not succumbed to the senses impingements. It is more primordial, it's so much of energy, that is so pure. That's why Buddha says, Pabhassara midam bhikkave chittang agantuke upakkilitte upakkilitta. So monks, your consciousness is so pure, so potential, but it is glossed over by sense impingement. When it happens, you get fallen to the trap of sense, and then you have become a sensual being. It happens within a split second. But going back also happens in the split second, but to get convinced, you have to have that kind of thought moments continuity, then only you will get convinced. That is the fighting of the yogi. Whenever seeing, note it as seeing. Don't get abstracted by the visual object. When you are hearing, try to note hearing. Don't try to get the hearing to take for a ride. So in walking, just to try to feel the walking. Don't think that I am going to the northward or leftward, or I am not walking beautifully or nothing. You try to get it to touch. When breathing, just for the sake of breathing. Looking at the body, just at the body. Don't think it as something to be show off or others looking at me or something like that. So that is how you come back to the home. Back at home. That is the most healthy. And that is the most endowed situation, and that is what we are so distracted by so much of seeing and hearing, and we call that kind of a people are rich. I don't know that definition. I can't understand that definition. Because more richest person is those who are living at home. That is what the Buddha says. Citta Dhamma Sukha Vihara, because that is the only person living. Others are distracted people. Others are trying to live. Those who are living in this very moment and not connected with the senses, that is the moment very at home situation. So this is possible only for the human beings, but for that also you must have enormous amount of knowledge, enormous amount of effort, and even then it will be a failure. But that does not indicate the theory is wrong. So you have to try and again get established the alignment. So understand as? Can you someone switch off this one? Yeah, if you are continuing with the same object, and when the mindfulness getting more and more deeper, concentration comes, sampajana sets in naturally also. And when exactly the same way, when you are changing from one posture to the other also, you are getting a chance for sampajanya to establish. Something like that, when I will give a normal example. Each and every moment we are dying, but we do not know. But we get excited when we see a dead body. Then only the senses of death comes. And there we contemplate upon the death. But each moment we are dying. But we are glossed over that every way possible, not to think about this, because it is unauspicious to think that every moment you are dying. At every moment it is happening, whether you like it or not. That is why the sickness happens. That is how the old age happens. So exactly each moment, even in the mindfulness happening on the breathing, moment to moment, gap is there. Next moment also mindfulness on the breathing. Next moment also mindfulness, but gap is there. When you are going from the momentum of the mindfulness to the standing posture, still the gap is the same. But that gap is dramatic, because changing of the posture happening. So these things are eventful moments. dramatic moments, some people catch at that moment. There is a gross level. But even in the continuity of the same object, so to say, in-breath, there are also gaps are there. That is why those who are practicing insight meditation, they see within the one in-breath, there are thousands of in-breaths happening in the gradual and stage manner. When you are lifting the hand, it is happening in thousands and small episodes. Between these, each and every one, there is a gap. All are happening in the darkness. All are happening in unconscious manner. So Buddha says, at least be aware. Otherwise you can understand the momentary depth. You can understand the momentary concentration. You can understand the mechanical posture. So what you do is you impose a being, you impose a creator, and then only gloss over the situation. But he says, nothing you can observe if you are very carefully observing like soul. There is no being. There is no mystic there. Everything can be cut and analyzed through the light of mindfulness. So it is not the business of the beginner, but beginner must at least know that is where you are aiming at. So therefore comprehension have equal opportunity even in the same posture. But in the changing of the posture, easy to demonstrate, dramatize, easy to make it more eventful. I don't know, this is the question you asked. No, that is why that when you, if you are clear to see the in-breath, and if you are noting, you will find within the in-breath there are a lot of actions. In-breath means at least the beginning, the middle and the end. That means some episodes. One episode to the other changing through a gap. Just like going and sitting and standing up. Standing up and sitting like. So many changes are happening, but it appears like earlier also in-breath. Next also in-breath. Next also in-breath. They appear like smooth flow. And this is accumulation of small pieces. To see the pieces like a line of ants, now from the distance if you look at it, it appear like a rod. It appear like a root. But if you go closer, there's no rod as such. It's ant by ant is going. I mean, it appear like a rope from the long distance, but if you go and see, there's no existing rope. There's no existing rod. It is a moving pieces. So if you are looking at a river, there's no river. It is ever changing flow. Even the bed is changing. And the shores are changing. So that is why the Western philosophy says one person can't climb down to the river twice. To the same river, because second river is not the first river that you are climbing down. And the Buddhist says, same person also not the person climbing down. He also changes. But we are glossing or we say, no, I have identity card, it has a number, so I am the same person. But definitely you know your photo in the wall is changed. So we are going to say such and such PhD, this name, that name, and long names. Not in a one paper to write it, everything. But all these are that kind of a glossing over. So if you are looking at immediately here, you see how often, how frequent, and in a multi-dimensional manner it is changing. So that is frightening for people, those who have no virtues, those who have no discipline according to the mental mindfulness, discipline according to the concentration and the clear comprehension. So the anicca sanya is a devastating thing. It is an omen, bad omen for the people, those who are believing and living with the nicca sanya. That is why the Buddha says long-lasting gods. They get frightened when the Buddha says sabbe sankhara anicca. Because they thought that we are the people came to this heavenly world at the beginning and everyone came later and we are to die late. So therefore we appear to be permanent. But the Buddha with the omnipotent and the omniscient knowledge, when he says everything is impermanent, then they get frightened. Therefore the most rich people and most the egocentric people frightened to hear the death. But they have to go and give up everything. So this is sometimes the Dhamma itself is undigestible, unpalatable. That is why people are very happy with Jataka stories and talking about the Siddhartha Kumara, not with the Buddha. They will listen hours. But this kind of thing you are consumed. You have to. Otherwise you are being evolved. Otherwise cannot be. And that can be tested. So therefore, two tastes, two kind of people. Not the no kind of Dhamma. Dhamma is the same.